Commissioner Rutherford. Here. Commissioner McAdoo. Here. Commissioner Beverly. Here. Commissioner Cush. Present. Commissioner Reed.
Present.
Mr. Paul Johnson.
Here.
Chairman Harris.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. Next, we want to approve minutes. I'll call on Vice Chairman Pettis Reed.
Mr. Chairman, I've read through the minutes. I find no problems. I move for their approval.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Moving on. We need to confirm one vacancy on the Board of Zoning Appeals. A second. We have one application. Mr. Sartan. Mr. Sartan, would you like to come up and say something and introduce yourself? Gave it to me. Oh, here.
If you feel like I've done a good job, I'll come back and serve another term. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, we're voting for one. If you do not like the one application that we have, we can send it back for more applications, but we have one right now. So we're going to do a roll call on this. Well, yeah, let's do a roll call. We are voting for Mr. Sartan to confirm.
Commissioner Paul Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Reed.
Yes.
Commissioner Cush.
Yes.
Commissioner Beverly.
Yes.
Commissioner McAdoo.
Yes.
Commissioner Rutherford.
Yes.
Chairman Harris.
Yes. Congratulations, Ms. Sartan. Next on the agenda is confirmed standing committee selections. It's on, gentlemen, we had this on your iPad. And before we get started on this, I'd like to announce that we had 21 commissioners. I was able to give 20 of the 21 their first choice. 16 of the 21 received their second choice. And as soon as I had done this, I had sent it to the pro tem. Pro tem sent it back with me with no recommendations. And next that I am supposed to present it to you. So if there's any questions on this or a motion to approve it, please go. Commissioner McAdoo.
I just got a question. I know that we turned them in and you look at them and try to give each one the first choice and then the second choice. Well, I've had several new commissioners that asked about that procedure. So can you go into details so we can get clarified, like your first step, second step, and so on those?
That's like how I set it up?
You're right.
Yeah. First thing we did is we asked all commissioners to give their 4 recommendations for committees. I then went in and tried to give everybody their first choice. Like I said, I got 20 out of 21. The only one I didn't is Mr. Johnson, and I had called Mr. Johnson and told him the situation, and I tried to give him his second and third choices. And most of the other ones, I believe 16 out of 21, we were able to give second, and then I went to third and fourth collectively from there. And then I passed it on to the Chairman Pro Tem for his recommendations and he sent it back to me with no recommendations. And like I said, I'm bringing it before you for approval to go to the full commission.
Did you get a motion yet to approve?
No, sir.
Mr. Chair, I would make a motion to approve the list as shown on our iPads.
Got a motion? Do I got a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Beverly. Roll call on this.
Commissioner Reed,
Yes.
Commissioner Cush,
Yes.
Commissioner Beverly,
Yes.
Commissioner McAdoo, Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Paul Johnson.
Yes.
Chairman Harris.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right.
Mr. Chair, I have one question.
Kush?
We have an ethics committee which rarely meets, only if needed, as needed, correct?
Yes, sir.
How is that body appointed?
The Ethics Committee is appointed by the mayor, I believe. He appoints all the members, and it's a 4-year term. But it still has to have confirmation from the county commission, though. It's not an application process like the other ones.
Chairman Harris, if I may, just to clarify, and I might have misheard, I think it's only a 1-year term for the Ethics
Is
Committee.
it a 1 year?
Yeah, 1 year.
Okay, I apologize. I was on it for 4 years. I just don't remember every year, so.
You just got reappointed every year.
Any other questions? Okay, we are confirming one vacancy on the beer board, 3-year term to expire 2025. We have one applicant, is Jerry Sartan. We've already met him, and we will vote on him, and this will be a roll call.
Commissioner Cush. Yes. Commissioner Beverly,
Yes.
Commissioner McAdoo. Yes. Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Paul Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Reed,
Yes.
Chairman Harris.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, moving on. We need to announce one Community Care Board vacancy to fill retiring member's term to end July 1st, 2024. We want to announce one Community Care Commission representative term. Let's see, and that's, so we're announcing those two right there. Okay, moving on. We need to confirm Codes Enforcement Adjustments and Appeals Board vacancy 3-year term, expired 2021. We have Larry Jernigan. We have one applicant, so we will be voting on him to fill this position, and this will be a roll call also.
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner McAdoo. Yes. Commissioner Beverly,
Yes.
Commissioner Cush,
Yes.
Commissioner Reed,
Yes.
Commissioner Paul Johnson.
Yes.
Chairman Harris.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we need to confirm one PBA vacancy to fill a retiring member's seat. Term expires January 2021. We have Tucker Mangrum as the only applicant. So we will be voting on him. Tucker, is he in here?
Yes, he is.
Would you like to come up and introduce yourself?
Hey, y'all. I'll be very brief since y'all have a long agenda. I actually met with Mr. Schmidt, who is the person who retired from the seat, to kind of get an understanding of the board, where they're at in the process, to go into it with hopefully be able to catch up pretty quick. So I really appreciate your vote and support for it. Thank y'all.
Any questions? I guess, never mind. All right. We'll be voting on this one, and this will be a roll call.
Commissioner Beverly,
Yes.
Commissioner Cush,
Yes.
Commissioner Reed,
Yes.
Commissioner Paul Johnson,
Abstain?
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner McAdoo? Chairman Harris?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Congratulations, Mr. Mangrum. Next, we need to announce one vacancy on Code Enforcement Adjustments and Appeals. Board vacancy, current 3-year term expires November 2022. I need to announce 4 vacancies on the Audit Committee. 2 of them will be commissioners. School Board will have 1, Road Board would have 1, and we'll have 2 citizens. Terms expire September 2022. These are 4-year terms. The School Board and Road Board is 2-year terms. So we need those applications in no later than 1 week before the meeting. Moving on. We need to confirm Charles Kinard to the Rutherford County Board of Health. Term expires June of 2030. Is Mr. Kinard here? All right, this is a confirmation, so we'll be doing a roll call on confirmation.
Commissioner Cush? Yes. Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Commissioner Beverly?
Yes.
Commissioner McAdoo? Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Paul Johnson?
Yes.
Chairman Harris?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, moving on. Next on the agenda is appointment of judicial commissioners. I think I had 2 of the 3 here, so is Tiffany Coleman here?
Yes, sir. We please move her to October.
I couldn't hear what she said.
She asked if we could move her to October, sir.
Yes. All 3? Or just you? Okay. Moving her off till October. Brian McGuire. Would you like to come up, Mr. McGuire? Or you want to move yours to October? No, I'm good. Come on. I guess you're getting caught off surprise, so I'll try to catch you up best I can. The commission has set a standard that we would like to meet our judicial commissioners before we confirm them, so we know who we're talking to and that, okay? So that's why we asked you to come up here. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ryan McGuire. I work for the town of Smyrna. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, and I did an internship with the district attorney's office under J. Paul Newman. Just wanted to keep it brief and kind of give y'all a brief introduction as to who I am. So,
Oh, it's on. Oh, yeah, it's on.
So,
need me to go again, sir? Okay, no, I just want All right, cool. Thank you all.
Thank you. Micaiah Strange. How you doing? Good.
All right. My name is Micah Strange. I did an internship with Smyrna Police Department my last year of college. I just graduated with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, and I currently work at the clerk's office in Smyrna. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Zay Ship. Miss. You don't have it on there.
it's on the other page. Yeah, it's on the, yeah, number 12.
How are you doing? Thank you. Go right ahead.
Greetings. I'm Jay Ship. I've been with the town of Smyrna for 14 years. In that time, I've also been a magistrate. I graduated from Middle Tennessee State University.
Thank you. You're welcome. Go ahead, Commissioner. Motion if you want to.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve, sir.
All right. Any of those second? You have a second? Commissioner McAdoo? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Moving on. I want to skip down to 16. I have made a mistake on here, so there is 3 commissioners that will be appointed to the insurance committee. There's 3 applicants. We need to confirm Alan McAdoo, Jeff Phillips, and Carl Boyd. So those 3 will be, we're voting on, so this will be on the board. to approve Alan McAdoo, Jeff Phillips, Carl Boyd to the Insurance Committee. Go ahead when you're ready, Rachel.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Reed,
Yes.
Commissioner Cush, Commissioner Beverly,
Yes.
Commissioner McAdoo, Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Chairman Harris.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Congratulations, gentlemen. 17 is off, and let's go down back to 13. And Sonya, Ms. Stephenson, come on up. It's your HR report.
Good evening. I have put my report on the SharePoint, and if you want to follow along, I didn't make copies of it this time. The HR snapshot gives an overview of some of the processes that have taken place in the HR department for the last month, and it has our cumulative totals as well. We had 16 separate ADA interactive processes, whether it be getting interpreters or in translations, accommodations, and those type things. We had, put on my glasses, I can't see, 36 personnel changes. We conducted 3 different audits this month, 11 benefits, which that could be somebody applying for retirement, Social Security, Medicare, whatever benefits assistant they need help with. We had 9 different activities that included community involvement. One of the employees in the office, the Assistant Director, Lindsay Cooper, is actually part of the Read to Succeed program. She's on their board. Also the Chamber Board. I'm on the Chamber Board in the Main Street. We do mock interviews at some of the schools and help at the Career Center, so we do different things to be out in the community and to be visible representatives of the county. We had 124 leave requests. That could be for an FMLA leave, ADA leave, any personal leave, administrative leave, those type things. We had 12 different legal situations. That could be whether we're doing a policy, it could be a complaint. We had 12 different activities related to that. 96 individuals off-boarded, which means they left the county, whether it be from a resignation or a separation. We had 218 new hires this month, and so that they were quite busy doing onboarding. The new commissioners got to participate in that process this time as well. 4 policy updates. We had 5 different special promotions. Those are promotions or activities that we send out to our employees to participate that another organization offers to our employees on, it's an exclusive benefit to the employees of the Rutherford County, so we had 5 of those. We had we received 843 applications. We did 485 reports or surveys, and in the reports and surveys are the open records request. Our office does the open records request, and we had, I was going to tell you how many of those we had. We usually have quite a few of those. Yeah, we had 219 open records requests this month, and 61 cases for new hire reporting to the state of Tennessee. Special projects could be whether we're doing research. We had a military audit that we conducted, a legislative project, did some social media postings, college recruitment, or some of the ones to name a few, unemployment wage audits. We conduct all kinds of special activities if the state asks us to do something or the federal government. So we had 43 of those. 147 testing. So the testing could be anything from background checks to someone getting CDL, a fit for duty if someone had an accident and we want to make sure that they're capable of returning back to work. Pre-employment or random drug screens, those type activities were part of the testing. We had 99 Title VI. The Title VI would be for our court system. We provide interpreters, all different languages, and we currently provide 39 different languages to our court system. and we have just almost completely implemented a video interpretation system that I started a couple of years ago. I wrote a grant with the Commission's permission and got the ability to purchase video interpretation equipment because some of the language that people come into our courts, we can't find interpreters for. One of the languages was CHU, and there was only one certified interpreter in Washington State, and the other was in Georgia. And so what would happen in those cases is we would have to bring them in, pay for their travel, their time, their hotel, their food, and their time here. And so I started researching the video interpretation. The last court that we will be rolling out is our juvenile court, and we will have all the courts, probation, recovery, judicial commissioners, circuit court clerk's office, everybody rolled out on the video interpretation. The training, we did 305 training opportunities, whether it be in person. We brought people into the departments. We've done several supervisor trainings, assistant director trainings, and in-person specific trainings that are requested. And we're doing, this month, we've got 8 CPR trainings that we're going to be doing for employees around the county after hours. So that concludes the snapshot report. On the other item that was added on there, I just put in, because sometimes the group wants to know what open positions, so this tells you, gives you a list of what departments have an open position, and then the position and posting range, which is on there, tells you the specific title and the open and close date of that position. So we've got several positions open right now. Are there any?
So the column on the left, that is all of our departments that we have job openings for?
If it has a number in it.
Yes.
So, yes. Mm-hmm. So we have 5 ambulance service positions open, 2 E911s, 2 health department, 3 PAWs, 6 sheriff's department, 5 solid waste.
So we have all these openings. Do we have a significant amount of applications?
Some of the positions will have quite a few. So, you know, it just really depends on the position, how unique it is. Sometimes we'll only get 2 or 3 applications, and a lot of times for our law enforcement and corrections, we will get a lot of applicants for those, but sometimes it depends on how much training that they're going to need to get into those positions. You know, we may get, Lisa Kroll was in here earlier, and almost every time she posts a job, she'll get 60 to 80 applications. So we're still getting good applicant flow on many of our positions. It's just sometimes the unique ones don't have as much applicant flow.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Stevens? Commissioner Johnson?
I just have one question. Since the salary increase went into effect, has it had any appreciable effect on the emergency workers for the sheriff's department, et cetera? Is it?
Yes, I would say that that has assisted. They were able to, I think at one point in time, the last time I talked to Sheriff Fitzhugh, like a week or so ago, about his positions. He only had 1 vacancy at the time, and I didn't look at it tonight. I apologize for that. But the number of vacancies have gone down. The number of people are leaving for other employment opportunities has gone down. The ambulance service, last time I talked to Brian, the day I talked to him, he goes, we literally were fully staffed until today, and I had somebody to resign. Our fire department's fully staffed. So any of the departments that do not have a posting are fully staffed, and so we leave the postings up for 2 weeks in most cases, and then they're able to hire after that.
Do you need a motion to approve, Mr. Chairman?
I do.
I so move.
I have a motion. I got a second. Commissioner Reed, second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Moving on. Gentlemen, you have, thank you, Ms. Stevenson. Gentlemen, you have on your iPad a list of litigation. I have some questions, but I'll open it to you guys first. So is there any questions? None? Mr. Christensen, I have some questions on the litigation list. I'd like to talk about item number 2. And I'm going to go down. I have 2, 3, 9, and then I have one on the sheriff's department. So I'd like to get an update on those 3 if you're able to.
I'm pulling up the litigation list on my phone, and it's taken just a minute. So just.
Do you want it? There you go.
Can I borrow this? Yeah. Okay. You said the first one was 2, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, 2.
Okay. Number 2 is the Kilpatrick versus Rutherford County case. That litigation remains ongoing. There have been a number of depositions that have been taken in the case. It's just currently in the discovery process. We have been actively working it and defending it.
Okay, so that's going on 3 years now?
Yes.
And we're just in deposing?
Well, we've been in depositions for well over a year. The plaintiff amended her complaint about a year ago to add some additional allegations that were not made originally, so that reset the discovery track on it. But there have been, I believe in that case, at least 4 or 5 depositions that have been taken just in the last few months, and the litigation just is ongoing.
All right. Number 3?
So that case is the Nunley versus Rutherford County, Tennessee case. There was a civil judgment that was awarded against the county following a week-long jury trial in that case. And the county, we recently have appealed that judgment to the Court of Appeals because we disagree with the outcome and believe that the judgment was excessive. And so we have appealed on a number of grounds and are working with appellate counsel that have been assigned to us by the county's excess insurance carrier. And that process is going to take at least probably up to a year. Probably more, because the issues have to be fully briefed, and generally there's oral argument that will be given at the Court of Appeals level.
So the insurance carrier is going to be providing attorneys for the appellate?
They are assisting, yeah. The insurance carrier, I think, is also asking our office to assist, but there will be primary appellate counsel that will be leading that charge, and that's customary in stuff like this. They're expert appellate counsel who can provide a fresh set of eyes and look at the trial record and transcript that had transpired, but we have teed it up for them, so to speak, by way of post-trial motions that we handled to preserve our arguments, such that they have all the ammunition that they might need on appeal.
And that fee will be, the fee for them is assessed by them, not us?
Correct.
Okay. Number 9, please.
So that is that the Milton Investors Group case? Yes. So just recently, I filed a response brief in that case. That case arises out of the denial of a subdivision plat from the Planning Commission a little while ago, about a little over a year ago. And anyway, so they filed their brief. I have filed mine. They'll have an opportunity to file a response to that, and I get to file one last reply to have the last word. I know that sounds crazy, monotonous, but that's the way it goes. It is set for oral argument in middle of October. And how this process generally works, it's an administrative appeal from the Planning Commission's decision. It goes up to the local trial court. My hope is that the trial court will agree with our position, and assuming that they do, hopefully that ends the matter. But as I've seen before, sometimes where we've been successful, there can be even further appeals to the Court of Appeals.
Okay. And my last one is on Sheriff's Office, and it is number 2. And the reason I'm curious about this one is we have addressed this for the 4 years I've been here. And I know we have also hired special counsel for this as well. So I'm curious as to where we're at on this.
Yes, and let me. I wish you'd asked me about all the ones that we got dismissed this last month. But
well, then let's talk.
I'm just kidding on that one. But
hey, we love them too.
Yeah, we do. We had some good results. Just to mention, we on the Grumpy's bail bond case, the court granted our motion to dismiss that, and that litigation is now over. And there's a couple others, but another one was a remaining plaintiff in the Candy Crush cases, and the court recently granted my motion for summary judgment on that, and that has been dismissed. Now the plaintiff still has the opportunity to appeal, but assuming that they don't, that will end that litigation in its entirety.
Good.
But to number 2, smart communications. Yes, we the county hired outside patent counsel. That's a very specialized and niche area of law for patent infringement. I'm sure that your sheriff wishes that litigation has been concluded. That's kind of out of the county's hands because the primary disputes are between the company that created the software originally and the company that provided it to us. We kind of just got caught in the middle of it. So they have been hashing things out. I think that there was an attempted mediation not too long ago that was unsuccessful. There have been some parallel litigation that's been filed over this same software in other states. And my understanding is that There is a wait and see as to how those courts will rule on it, because if those courts rule a certain way, it may affect the outcome of the litigation that's involved here. But if you'll recall, Mr. Chairman, that when this case first got filed, we were able to secure an agreement with the software company to pay for the county's legal defense, and so they have been paying the county's patent counsel to lift that financial burden off of the county.
Good. We'll make sure everybody knows that. Is there any other questions? All right, gentlemen, let's move on. Next on the agenda, the last thing on the agenda is the Chief of Staff discussion. This is a discussion. Before this administration was here, we had addressed this situation, and we decided that we did not want to do anything on this matter until a new administration was elected, which is Mayor Carr. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is this reason. Most of my concerns was from the last administration. When this resolution was created for a deputy mayor position, there was a resolution in 2012. And there was Mayor Burgess had a specific description of what he wanted as a job description for these position. And then in 2018, we amended that, and the deputy of mayor, which was now called the chief of staff, reports directly to the mayor at his discretion. But hiring of that person and I'm not sure on the firing of that person, that's entirely up to the mayor on firing, but a new one can't be approved unless it's by the county commission. Okay, my question to you and my discussion here is that the previous administration had increased the job duties significantly and never came to this commission and asked us for approval for those things. So I feel that the county commission, through transparency and accountability, should always approve any new duties or descriptions that come up with the deputy mayor, or give me time, it's been 4 years, chief of staff. So my question to you is what I want to discuss is, do you feel as steering committee that we should address and approve any new job descriptions that come up on this position? Seeing none, we,
Chairman,
go ahead.
job description I read from the current or prior chief of staff, we'll call him, deputy to the mayor, was there were things added that specifically dealt with his expertise, such as reviewing real estate contracts and auctioning and all that. So if that position changes, it may not be a licensed auctioneer, broker. I think a job description should be somewhat specific and somewhat not. That you have you have a clause in there to say all other duties as assigned by management or the mayor or whatever. So the last job script, the current job description that I've seen for Mr. Sandlin was kind of specific for him. So we need generic, an overall job description, and all other duties as assigned by the mayor or management or whatever fall under that. And the other thing I have to say is, we talked about this recently, deputy to the mayor, most of the public thinks that that position, if the mayor is out or incapacitated or whatever, that that person fills in. I've never liked that job description because for the last 4 years, people have called Mr. Sandlin the deputy mayor. The deputy, I think is very confusing to not only the public, but maybe others as employed by the county. So I've thought about this, I've looked, I've researched. I think executive assistant is in my mind, a pretty good description of what that job really does. He's not the deputy mayor or vice mayor. He's an assistant, executive assistant. That the mayor's office is the executive branch, an executive assistant, and I'm sure Commissioner Phillips has a whole lot more wisdom than I do when it comes to HR stuff. I really think that job description is going to have to change based on what it currently is, what I've seen.
So let me see if I understand you. So you're wanting to change the name of the employee to the mayor from chief of staff to executive assistant?
Executive assistant to the mayor.
Executive assistant to the mayor.
Chief of staff is, I don't know, it almost sounds too formal, and let's call it what it is. He's the executive assistant to the mayor. That's just in my head, and we've got several others up here that can say otherwise, but that's my thought.
Is that in the form of a motion?
I'd rather have some discussion.
I'm sorry?
I'd rather have some discussion.
Okay. Let's bring, Sonya, come on up. Got a feeling this is going to be all about wording and all that, isn't it? Yeah, I figured. Go right ahead.
First of all, I'm sure Rachel would love that job, but executive assistant is her title. So she's the executive assistant, but, you know, she was probably, you know, game for that. But so one of the things that could happen, I mean, the title is something that was brought up just because of the confusion of the title of deputy mayor. I believe that Commissioner McAdoo may have mentioned, I think, I'm not positive, Chief of Operations was a title that was thrown out there. There's several different titles that we could use. If somebody else has an idea, I don't think anybody's necessarily, I may be wrong, Mayor Carr, are you tied to Chief of Staff title?
Yep, go ahead.
No, I'm not.
Turn that on, push that button.
No, I'm not tied to the title of Chief of Staff. I just want something that accurately describes the role and responsibility of each individual.
Mayor Carr, do you have a suggestion?
There we go. Thank you. I do. Just a little background. I have spoken extensively about this particular position with Sonya Stephenson and Lisa Nolan about what the county's particular needs are. And doing a little history, I found that Mayor Burgess found that this position needed somebody with an emphasis in possibly public safety, which is why his deputy to the mayor was Jeff Davidson. And then when Mayor Ketron came on board, Mayor Ketron had a different idea about what the needs of the county were. It was more about facilities in the public buildings. So he brought Steve Sandler on board, who had a background in real estate and buildings and appraisal. After a lot of discussion with Lisa Nolan and Sonya Stephenson and others, because of the growth of this county is just beyond imaginable some days, and because currently we're at 362,000 people. By the end of 2023, we will be the fourth largest county in the state. It was their opinion as well as mine that we've got a rather large target on our back, as illustrated by our county's attorney's description of the legal cases he's having to deal with. And I felt like that we needed in the mayor's office some legal help to assist, not to replace, but to assist the mayor's office in making sure that we gave them the information they needed as this target on our back grew and grew. Specifically, Lisa Nolan described that we needed another set of eyes on the numerous contracts that we signed. And I can say in the less than 1 week I've held the mayor's position, you can't imagine the number of purchase orders and requisitions that I've already signed. And it's not a daunting task, but when we're talking about $750 million budget, I'm thinking there are things that we can do in a preventative way that would help both Lisa, Sonya, myself, the county commission, and our county attorneys, by the way, who do a splendid job just in some preventive maintenance. So this is what I've identified with their help, and so what we call this position isn't nearly as important as we have the professional help that I think our county deserves, and so that's why I suggest we move in this direction.
Any questions?
I want to withdraw my recommendation. I had no idea that that was her position. We don't need to change that, I'm telling you. So I'm just throwing ideas out. I'm sorry, Rachel. I apologize from the depths of my heart. I had no idea that was, and you do well. And I'll leave it at that.
Mr. Mayor, I do have some questions. I'm looking at your job description for hiring that you had put out, and one of the things it says here, basically, you're wanting to hire a lawyer. That's what it says. So, I actually, after you kind of just what you just said, I kind of get it, but I'm just concerned with being a lawyer of being in situations to where there's some contention between the county commission and the mayor's office, and the county attorney works for us. He's appointed and works for us, and I just don't want to be in a situation where this lawyer, or I'm sorry, who you hire to be chief of staff, is not doing contracts or anything like that, because he will not have. We don't want him to put us in that situation, even though he does have a law degree.
A fair point, but and I've read the contract between the county commission and the law firm that Mr. Christensen represents, and it's very, very clear that they are the firm of record on those kind of matters, and there's an absolute, unequivocal line that this office, and like the county commission, is going to adhere to as it relates to their unambiguous responsibility to the county, and that relationship that both the county mayor and the county commission have with that law firm as the firm of record for this county. So this is meant to be a resource, not a final arbiter in any legal matters. So
do you feel that this job description for you to hire someone new, does Juris Doctorate, does that have to be in there, or can that just be something that you're looking at instead of absolutely you had to have that?
Well, it's kind of a wish list. So I mean, we're trying to find the most qualified person, and it's interesting because Sonya and I were discussing this today, and we were talking about the number of applicants. I think we've had 3 applicants so far, and we're trying to find out, and based on the applicants, never mind, quite honestly, what we would like to see in a legal background. If you took that out of it, unfortunately, it doesn't even appear the 3 applicants qualify without that. So this is one of those unique positions that we're going to have to get creative in the sense that we got to throw a broader net so people understand that this position is available. I think this would be a very attractive position for the right individuals who are qualified, and again, I don't think there's any conflict at all between this position and the services provided by our county attorney.
Okay. Any questions, Chairman Phillips?
Just one quick follow-up. Having an additional attorney on board, to me, sounds like a really, really good idea, and I firmly believe that the mayor should hire whom he wants to hire. My question goes back to the job description process. We started with 1, Now we've got 2, and now we're looking at 3. And my concern is that where does it end? You know, if we want to start, God forbid something happened to the mayor, okay, and this time next year we had a new mayor. Does that new mayor also get to write a new job description? So my question is, should job description be consistent? And I'm thinking if the mayor wants to hire someone who has a law degree, I think that's great. But should it be in the job description? Couldn't he just post preferred instead of requirement? I'm just trying to think ahead as it relates to us changing the description of this job, maybe without who following everyone. Does that make any sense?
And I'm going to own that. That is a very good point. We could have absolutely done that. In several of our other positions, you know, I always tell department directors whenever they're posting a job, I say, tell me what your dream person would look like, and that's what will help you achieve. It may be that the minimum qualifications doesn't rise to the level for them to have like their dream person, but we do put preferred in there. So in all honesty, I should have caught that. That's, you know, Mayor Carr asked me for my expertise, and when we were talking about what might be helpful to the county, that's where I went with it. So I'll have to own that. That was on me.
So you're saying that we can, so are you both saying that we could take Juris Doctorate out and change it to preferred?
We could. It does say preferred in there already.
I'm seeing Juris Doctorate degree required.
So if you look, well, Juris Doctorate, that's just somebody with a law degree. We could put somebody in there with a bachelor's degree with, you know, legal experience, or a minor in legal, or a bachelor's in criminal justice. That was a wish list. We did add in there, I think the next to last sentence says preferred someone who has,
in the state of Tennessee.
Yes, preferred legal experience. So that's, we absolutely could do that, and that's, I mean, that would not be an issue, I don't think.
I think that I would like to see that if we could. Gentlemen, what I'm trying to tell y'all and what I'm trying to do is, when most of this is from the prior administration, they added like 7 to 10 things new, and we didn't even know about it till we started looking up here. And I know it sounds like we're coming at Mayor Carr. I'm not coming at Mayor Carr. I'm coming at that we need to, at this time, we need to make sure we dot the I's and cross the T's. And if there's going to be new job descriptions, then the county commission should approve any new job description, whether it's acceptable or not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying these are bad or good. I'm saying that if we're going to add job descriptions to a resolution, then we need to approve that or amend that resolution. And that's what I'm asking here, and that's the discussion, because I will bring this up next month, and we'll be looking for a motion on this. But my biggest thing is I want to discuss with all y'all is that the last administration just kept increasing more and more job descriptions, and we never even knew about it. And I think the county commission should go, I mean, this resolution was passed in 2012 based on a attached hereto amendment document. And then we kind of moved on from there. So that's why that I'm bringing this discussion up. It has nothing to do with Mayor Carr in any capacity, because Mayor Carr, I have what Mayor Carr has on his other than his job description for attorney. It's not changed. It's not changed. But Mayor Ketron had like 7 to 10 things on here, to add. And I'm not saying they're good or bad. I'm saying we need to approve those, and then HR has that. Well, so am I clear on all that with everybody? Good, go ahead.
And one of the things is that most job descriptions say, and other, in fact, this one says, under the additional functions, it says performs other related duties as required or assigned. So, I mean, there's going to be some things that happen that, like, we haven't even thought of yet that might happen, and so that falls under that. I think what the intent was just to say, on Mayor Ketron's behalf. I think the intent was to say, yes, these duties were performed, but these additional duties were performed. And so, and either way, I think you're going to have to do a resolution to update it, because if we change the title, by changing the title, it also means that because we're changing the title from deputy to the mayor, we'd have to change, wouldn't we have to do the resolution? Well, you already done a resolution to change the title, didn't you?
Yes.
So, I mean, we could put everything back with the exception of the title and leave it as other duties as assigned, and then it's still the original resolution plus the amended one for the title, if you so choose.
Yeah, and if the mayor wants to come and have certain things he wants to do with his chief of staff, there is no problem. Bring it up before the county commission. We'll approve it and move on from there. So that's the discussion. Next month, we'll look at motions on this and voting on this. Is there any other questions on this? Commissioner Phillips?
I think the mayor should still go ahead and start interviewing this process and not delay that. So we can handle this at a later date, but the mayor doesn't need to be falling further and further behind in that job selection process.
Absolutely not. I do not want to hamper him in any way whatsoever. Continue doing what you're doing, and we'll go from there. Commissioner Reed.
Mr. Chairman, we've talked about a lot of different things here, but I think if you look at what we have purpose of classification right at the very beginning of this. And it reads, the purpose of this classification is to work under the direction of the county mayor to assist the day-to-day operations of the county. That right there tells you exactly the whole purpose of why we have this individual. We started back with Mayor Burgess. That's what he was doing, and that purpose goes under the direction of the mayor. If the mayor feels he needs this person, and as long as it falls under the schedule of pay, which we have already established too, is also within there, within the budget and whatever, he can bring back what he says this individual is going to do for him and what he wants to do there. I think that pretty well will cover. I know we've talked about a title or whatever. We've had different titles. We already have chief of staff right there. There are a lot of different titles we can put in here, but I think the main thing we're looking right here is we're talking about the person and the direction we want to go. Each individual that has held this office has done something totally different from whatever I think the majority of us have thought they should be doing or what we would be doing. I think it comes to anybody that has hired somebody to work with them. It's no different than anything we do. Each department any of us have ever worked. I think when you have somebody that becomes your person to work under your direction, you want them to do what you want them to do. So I think we move from there, exactly what you say there. The mayor goes on with trying to pick who he wants under what he needs to do there, and we go from that direction.
Any other questions? Mayor, would you like to say anything?
No, sir.
All right. Commissioner Chairman Phillips, you good? All right. All right, gentlemen. That leads us to any new business. Commissioner Phillips.
Thank you. We appointed some members to the insurance committee. Just give you a brief history of this insurance committee. I've been around a long time. Commissioner McAdoo's been around even longer than a long time. But way back when, you could not get a commissioner to volunteer to serve on that insurance committee. Things have changed. The insurance committee is much more organized and better run than it is now, this day and time. And some years ago, since it was a committee that required commissioner participation in, a pay scale was added to it, and I think it's $150 per meeting, if I'm not mistaken. The issue that I want to bring up, and I'd like for the HR director, the county attorney, and finance director to maybe come back with a report. Some years ago, and I talked to Commissioner Reed about it, and I can't remember how many years, when you get my age, things are in fives. You know, it's 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. I can't remember how long ago, but we had a discussion that related to our pay process with commissioners that dealt with a per diem versus meetings that we attended. And I remember us wanting to change the per diem to per meeting. And that process, there was some discussion about timing and all kinds of things. But it appears that that process has not been changed. 50 years ago, a per diem might have been appropriate, but this day and time, it is not. Just as an example, the insurance committee meets on a Thursday afternoon prior to when property management meets. So if you're a member of the insurance committee and a member of property management, you don't get paid for both of those committees, theoretically. Actually, we've not been adhering 100% to that per diem process. So in practice, we're not doing it sometimes, and it appears we are doing it sometimes. I'm highly recommending that we do away with the, quote, per diem language in our pay policies and procedures and just pay straight out for the committee. The exceptions to those would be joint meetings like budget and health and ed when they meet annually to go over the budget. If you're a member of both of those, you only get paid once. That makes sense. But to say that someone doesn't get paid because their meetings are scheduled on the same day makes no sense at all to me this day and time. And I would request that the county attorney, our HR director, and our finance director research this process and bring back a finding next month for this committee to take a look at it. And once again, it's my recommendation that we do away with this per diem language that's in there and just go straight out for committees that are assigned. Once again, I think we're doing it some and we're not doing it some, and past practice over the last few years, I think we're paying for some of those situations, and in my mind, past practice, what we've established the last few years should be what we're doing. That insurance committee and the county commission committee structure should not be in conflict. It just makes no sense to me as a commissioner anymore. The per diem may have been something that that was appropriate years and years and years ago, but it's inappropriate right now, and we ought to take care of that.
So if I can understand you, the insurance committee pays to be on that committee? Okay, and if that committee meets on Wednesday and you have a 5:30 meeting on Wednesday, they're saying they're not paying you for one committee, they're just paying you for one day.
According to some information I got from Lisa Nolan, that's correct. And once again, and I don't mean to name names, Alan, but McAdoo has served on the insurance committee for a long time, and he's also chaired the property management committee, and they meet on the exact same day pretty much every month. That situation should not exist. Two separate, complete separate meetings. I don't know where the per diem came from years and years ago, but the per diem process means that if you're paid a certain amount of money, that's the money that you get for that day, no matter how many meetings you attend, whatever. So once again, that situation to me is unacceptable. We talked about it several years ago. I remember that discussion, and I also remember us saying we're going to take care of it at the appropriate time, which would be, I don't know when. It had to do with the timing of the commission and changing pay structures in the commission. But I think the decision was, in my memory, was to take care of that at the appropriate time. Right now is the appropriate time to do it.
Okay. Commissioner McAdoo, and then Commissioner Beverly.
Well, since my name was mentioned, I'll just break it down to you. That insurance committee under Burgess, it was so unpopular that you couldn't get anybody to serve on it. The ones that was on it wanted to get off of it because at the time we were in the red and we needed to do some things that was not popular. I'll put it like that. And one of those things was involve employees in paying a percentage. So therefore, Mayor Burgess called me in and said, would you serve on the insurance committee? And I guess I was the one that maybe could serve on it and do the things that needed to be done and get by with the employees. I don't know. But since that time, I have never got paid for it. Because I serve on property management, and I never receive any pay for that committee. Now, sometimes that committee, it's time consuming. It really is. It's time consuming. And you answer a lot of questions to employees. So, not speaking for myself, but I think Commissioner Phillips is right, on that committee, because it may bring on other volunteers. It may be popular enough to say, hey, I'll serve on it, you serve on it, or whatever. We'll switch it up. We'll have a vast majority of the commissioners, interested in that committee. And that rule is just not for the insurance committee. At one time, purchasing. If you have a purchasing committee meeting on the same day as a committee meeting, you only get paid for one. And that was bad, because you could have purchasing in the morning and a committee meeting at night, so this individual leave and come back and you only get paid for one meeting. So I agree with Commissioner-Chairman Phillips that we need to look at that and change it. We really do.
It's my recommendation, once again, that we ask our county attorney, our HR director, and our finance director to look at the process that we've been following and sometimes not following, and correct that situation and bring a recommendation back to us. And it's my recommendation that they bring back a change where we pay by committee instead of per diem.
Commissioner Beverly?
I would have to yield to you, Mr. Christensen, on this. I understand where Chairman Phillips and Commissioner McAdoo are coming from, but we get into the point changing compensation during a term and how that flows into it. So that's something I think we need to be prepared for when they bring this report back. No matter what we decide to do, it may be up to 4 years until it takes effect, correct?
That there is a law out there that says that. Whether that would apply to this situation, I wouldn't know until I get with the finance director, who's got some stuff right here. I don't know. I'd probably caution him and say we probably should wait before we start talking publicly about all this stuff, since we don't have all the facts. And let your staff kind of get together on it, would be my thought, and then report back next month.
Yeah, let me go ahead. I'll put that down now. This will be on our agenda next month. Nick, does that give you enough time to research this a month?
I think so. Yeah, and Chairman, if there's any hiccup, I'll let you know immediately, and if
you need to let us know what it is now. If it's ambiguous, we need to know that as well.
Sure. Yes, sir.
So we'll bring that back next month for discussion and possible motion. Anything else? Everybody good? Hey, we made it. Flew through it. We're adjourned.